Right now, Pete Buttigieg makes a campaign stop in Madison. We break down his visit. Also capping off Madison Black Restaurant Week, a pop-up with dozens of vendors treated Olin Park for a food taste jamboree. Plus, we sat down with an expert from SSM Health to clear up some nutrition misinformation. That's all coming up at 5:30. Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. With the upcoming presidential election nearing, political parties are amping up their campaigns. And with Wisconsin being a battleground state, our area is getting a lot of attention. U.S. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg and his husband Chasten made a surprise visit Sunday morning to Madison and got Democrats excited to launch their door-to-door canvass launch in the city.
Just moments ago, this place was packed with people who are about to go canvass for progressive policies. Before they go door knocking, though, they got to hear from Tammy Baldwin and Chasten and Pete Buttigieg.
We are the battleground state.
We know that Wisconsin can tilt these elections.
This is really important to me, and I love being here.
Dozens of people crammed into EVP Coffee Shop, and at least 50 of them were prepping to go canvass for the rest of the day.
I feel like we're not so much saving a democracy as we are building one. We're building it together. And that's what you're doing every time you knock on a door.
Both Baldwin and Buttigieg focused their speeches on helping future generations.
Half of America now has fewer rights than their mothers and grandmothers.
Politics, at the end of the day, is at our dining room tables, it's in our living rooms, it's in our classrooms.
Pete and Chasten Buttigieg tied their experience of being dads to their young son and daughter.
We want to guarantee that she's going to grow up with more rights and freedoms that she started out with. We actually have to work for that. And that's what I know all of you are ready to do. If we want to make sure that she is safe, that our kids are going to be okay, that they're going to live in a climate that they can prosper in, we got to get out there and work for it.
This notion resonated throughout the crowd.
What I was really most impressed by is the range of ages here.
I wish that, I could vote. I don't know, I just really do. My brother said he's excited for when he's 18 so that he can play video games.
Even though it'll be another 9 years, Amelia says that she's really excited to be 18 because she knows exactly why she wants to vote.
It's really important to know what matters to you and to vote for that because every vote matters.
After hearing from Tammy Baldwin, Chasten, and Pete Buttigieg, people are now out canvassing, so if you get a door knock, now you know why. Reporting in Madison, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
Meryl, thank you. Coming up this week, Wisconsin will see more visits from the Harris and Walz campaign as well as the Trump campaign in Milwaukee. Now, we reached out to the Republican Party of Wisconsin for comment on Buttigieg's visit. They say, from the supply chain crisis to skyrocketing airfare, working families saw their savings and plans decimated by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Pete Buttigieg's visit to Madison only serves to remind voters of both of their disastrous record and a need for change this November. And starting tomorrow morning, News 3 Now will be in Chicago for the Democratic National Convention. Eric Franke, Susan Simon, Brady Mallory, and Charlotte DeLeste will be in Chicago with special coverage along with many of our reporters. We'll have team coverage of the event starting tomorrow morning with News 3 Now this morning with anchors Chris Sanford and Kyrie-Ann Lee. Now let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller, who's out on the weather patio. Blaze, how does it feel out there?
Well, I feel great in this nice weather because it's finally sunny, and I was hoping it would be sunny earlier today, and the pesky clouds stuck around. But now as we head into that 5 o'clock hour, we're getting some sunshine. So get out and enjoy it as we go throughout the rest of this evening. We're going to see sunshine into your day on Monday as well. Our latest incoming high from Canada is moving into the Great Lakes, and that's going to continue to keep our skies clear to mostly clear overnight and throughout your Monday. But we are tracking the chance for maybe an isolated shower as we go into your Monday as well. But I think a lot of us are actually going to stay dry as we kick off our next work week. Those clouds burned off allowed our temperatures to climb here into those mid to upper 70s, if not nearing the mid 80s. In Boscobel, it's 80 in Sauk City, 79 in Deerfield, as well as in Sun Prairie. We're hanging out in the upper 50s to low 60s tonight. Light winds. If you want to, you can throw open those windows. It's not going to be a humid night. Here's a look at our planner for your Monday. Plenty of sunshine, upper 70s to low 80s once again. However, the end of next week is going to feel more like summer, even though we're nearing the end of it. So we're going to track out just how hot we will get in just a few minutes.
All right, Blaze, we'll see you then. A person is arrested following a double fatal crash Saturday morning. JPD provided the update Sunday saying they are investigating the crash as a double homicide by an intoxicated use of a vehicle. Police say the driver, age 32, failed to stop at a red light at the intersection of East Delavan Drive and Beloit Avenue. The two people in the second vehicle driving northbound were pronounced dead on the scene. JPD additionally say the driver of the first vehicle was arrested after failing field sobriety test. A warrant was issued for blood samples. The investigation is still ongoing. August is Black Business Month, and the Black Chamber of Commerce held a food taste jamboree to top off their Madison Black Restaurant Week. This was the 9th year for the Black Restaurant Week, and with their expansion, this is the first year they moved the celebration to Olin Park. At least 40 vendors popped up at Olin Park to give people a wide variety of foods, ranging from Afghan, Jamaican, soul food, and so much more. Some vendors were relatively new, while others have been around for years, but everyone was included in this occasion to highlight Black businesses.
Some people say, how do you describe it? I say, if you've been to Taste of Madison, it's like the Taste of Madison, but with Black and brown vendors. So it's really important that we support the vendors, not just this week, but it continues going on through the rest of the year.
The event also had live music for everyone to enjoy. There is no shortage of nutrition and diet information being shared on social media, websites, and advertisements. But how do you know if the advice is worth following or whether or not it's dangerous? Today, our Kyrian Lee sits down with SSM Health's Dr. Rupa Shah to clear up some nutrition misinformation.
Dr. Shah, thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're going to jump right in here. So we're talking about some online health trends that are going around, and we know not all of them are the best for us. So you can explain why following some of the newest diets or nutrition tips can be dangerous.
Yep. So they recently did a study, which I was sort of surprised at, but like 57% of millennial and Gen Z TikTok users are influenced by or have adopted some sort of social media dieting nutrition trend. The problem with this is that only about 2 to 3% of them are even accurate or safe kind of nutritionally to even be doing. So a lot of misinformation that's out there, some of which can be really dangerous and not very healthy. You know, you really got to be cautious of which sorts of things you jump into and trust people. It's really important to make sure that the persons that you're following on these social media platforms have some credentialing. That's what I always say. You got to be really cautious who you follow. Are they a medical physician who has training or expertise? Are they board certified in the topic that they're actually speaking to? These are the folks that you really want to get your information from.
Yes, and I know it can look glamorous from the outside, like, oh, you know, losing weight real quick. But those claims of a quick fix and eliminating whole food groups come to mind as red flags. So what else should we look for?
Yeah, so those sorts of buzzwords that you mentioned, when people are talking about doing a cleanse or a reset or a detox, you know, those are usually big red flags. You know, when folks are talking about never eat X food or always do X thing, you never want to talk in absolutes. And those are really things that should raise your alert level to, like, maybe this isn't the safest thing and maybe I should talk to my physician before starting something.
Yes, I think that is a great starting point.
Yes.
Talking with the person who knows you best.
Correct. Yep. Yep.
And so where should people look to find accurate and safe information? Are there any resources out there that people can look into?
So I would always suggest talking to your physician first, because just like you mentioned, they know you best. They know which medications you're taking. They know your health history, and they can really guide you either towards or away from the things that you're considering. Second, this can be a good time actually to use Google or Google Scholar, actually, because you can do your own research and you can look up these research articles to see if what somebody is telling you is actually validated by actual research. And if it is, it might be okay to try it. And if it's not, just stay away from it.
Yes. Yeah. Don't hurt yourself out there trying to follow these trends, these fads, all of those things.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Dr. Shah, where can people find you online?
So they can find me on Instagram at Wellness with Dr. Shah.
Very good. Dr. Shah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks again for having me.
Kyrian, thank you. Next on News 3 Now at 5:30, the Harris Walls ticket rolls through Pennsylvania, rallying ahead of the DNC in Chicago. And tonight at 10, make sure you have the best luggage for that late summer escape. Consumer Reports shows you some of the best friendly picks.
She grew up in a middle-class home. She was the daughter of a working mom, and she worked at McDonald's while she got her degree. Kamala Harris knows what it's like to be middle class. It's why she's determined to lower healthcare costs and make housing more affordable. Donald Trump has no plan to help the middle class, just more tax cuts for billionaires. Being president is about who you fight for, and she's fighting for people like you.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The story of Scott the Window Guy starts with the crack of a bat and a broken window. Little did I know, Mom actually wanted her windows replaced. I'm Scott the Window Guy from AHT Wisconsin Windows. For the past 50 years, we've been replacing windows in Wisconsin with a 50-year warranty and a 10-year glass breakage guarantee to protect you
From kids like me.
Get a free, no-obligation estimate and $225 off per window at scottthewindowguy.com.
A lot of law firms claim to be experts at handling injury cases that involve large trucks. But handling one trucking case does not make you an expert on the subject. Experience matters in these cases. One local firm has handled 25 trucking cases which resulted in payments over $1 million each, and hundreds of others as well. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Before she was the most liberal U.S. senator, Kamala Harris was the liberal San Francisco prosecutor, the most progressive in all of California. She let an MS-13 gang member go, who then murdered a father and his 2 sons. She agreed to release another felon, who then committed murder. And Kamala even protected illegal alien drug dealers so they could escape deportation. Kamala Harris, a dangerous San Francisco liberal. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5:30, moving forward.
Thank you for staying with us. All eyes in the political world turn to Chicago as the Democratic National Convention kicks off Monday. But first, both campaigns are focusing in on one of the most pivotal battleground states in the election, Pennsylvania. Skylar Henry is at the DNC with more.
We're back, and we're going to keep coming back.
Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz kicked off their big week with a rally in Pennsylvania.
You've got a lot of work, Pennsylvania, on your shoulders right now that you're carrying, and you who are here volunteering to do this work. And we're going to get it done.
They also stopped at a phone bank center where volunteers were reaching out to voters, with Harris even speaking to one personally.
We're all in this together.
Underscoring the importance of the state, former President Donald Trump campaigned in Pennsylvania Saturday and will be back there Monday.
It's great to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are.
In the latest CBS News Battleground Tracker poll out Sunday morning, Pennsylvania is a dead heat, as are the other battleground states of Michigan and Wisconsin. Democrats are hoping for a bump in the polls after this week's Democratic National Convention. Protests are also planned in Chicago in opposition to the Biden administration's support for Israel in its war with Hamas. Security is tight around the United Center, the site of the DNC.
Our local police department has worked with the Secret Service as well as other local agencies to ensure a safe, peaceful, yet vibrant, exciting convention.
President Joe Biden will deliver the keynote speech on Monday night. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Chicago.
Other notable speakers expected throughout the week include former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, Secretary Hillary Clinton, and former First Lady Michelle Obama. And as another reminder, starting tomorrow, News 3 Now will be in Chicago for the DNC. Eric Franke, Susan Simon, Brady Mallory, and Charlotte DeLeste will be in Chicago all week long with many of our reporters. And kicking off our morning coverage, our morning team, led by Kyrion Lee and Chris Stanford, will kick things off with News 3 Now this morning. And Blaze has another look at your First One forecast coming up after the break.
News 3 Now brings you team coverage from the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. We'll talk to delegates about the issues that matter right here in Wisconsin. Campaign 2024 DNC coverage live from Chicago, starting Monday on News 3 Now.
We know the fentanyl coming from Mexico and China is a threat here in Wisconsin.
It's why Tammy Baldwin is working to stop it.
And Tammy passed the bipartisan Fend Off Fentanyl Act.
that takes on the Mexican cartels and the fentanyl coming from China.
And Tammy Baldwin voted 32 times to strengthen our border.
32 times to increase border patrols.
And technology to keep illegal drugs out. Because Senator Baldwin knows
keeping us safe is her first priority.
Tell Tammy Baldwin to keep securing our borders.
Everyone deserves the fastest, most reliable internet speeds, regardless of where they live. That's why Spectrum offers the fastest speeds in more neighborhoods than any other provider. So switch to Spectrum and get a powerful network that connects nearly 500 million devices.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with free modem, no data caps, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee when you level up to a gig. Call 1-855-735-1336 or scan to call.
With Spectrum Internet, you can power all of your devices to enjoy streaming, video chatting, and gaming with the most reliable internet speeds. Get a powerful network that millions of customers rely on. I rely on Spectrum Internet. You should too.
Switch to Spectrum Internet for only $49.99 a month with 99.9% network reliability, no added taxes or hidden fees, and no contracts. Plus, save with our 2-year price guarantee. Call 1-855-735-1336.
Call now.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
The alarming spike in inflation soaring to its highest level in nearly 40 years.
That is called Bidenomics.
Gas prices rose again today, reaching a new all-time high.
We're still dealing with inflation, and we've got super high interest rates at the same time.
Bidenomics is working.
2/3 of Americans are just struggling to make ends meet.
And this comes after Friday's jobs report showing a spike in unemployment.
And we are very proud of Bidenomics.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze.
And we are going to go into the rest of this Sunday evening and overnight on the quiet side. Again, Canadian high pressure system is moving on in. Typically with high pressure systems, we get the clear skies and the light winds, and we're really going to feel that as we go not only overnight, but into your Monday as well. They were slow to clear, but the clouds have moved on out, and that is allowing us to get a little bit of sunshine here as we near the 6 o'clock hour. Nothing going on radar 3000 as temperatures sit in the low to mid 70s in Juneau and Waukesha, to the upper 70s to almost mid 80s. It's 84 right now in Boscobel, 79 in Platteville. Into Dane County we go. It's 80 in Sauk City, 79 in the capital city, 80 in Waunakee. It's going to be a slow cool down, but we will eventually settle into those upper 50s as we go into the overnight hours. There's a little bit of haze out there too. Now that the clouds have cleared out, we can see it. And unfortunately, that haze is going to be sticking around as we go into your Monday as well. So it's going to be mild, upper 70s to low 80s, more sunshine with those light northerly winds. Right around seasonal for this time of year, but by the time we're ending our upcoming work week into that following week, we're going to be well above average on the backside of this high pressure system. Monday, other than maybe an isolated shower into the afternoon, and we'll track it out here on Future Track. Some clouds want to move in out of Green Bay. They may bring a stray shower or two, but otherwise, a lot of us are going to be staying dry on Monday. There's not a lot of moisture in the atmosphere for maybe one of these showers to use, but if they do, it would be very isolated. As you're seeing, Future Track kind of pops one up near Watoma right around 6:30. And they'll fizzle out very quickly. There's nothing really supporting these showers if they were to form on Monday. But unfortunately, that haze is not going to be moving on out of here until we go into Tuesday morning. So if you are sensitive to smoke, Monday might be a little bit tough out there as this high pressure system brings in some of that smoke out of Canada. Let's jump ahead to Tuesday. This high pressure system is being pushed to the south and east, and that's important in talking about what then comes behind this high pressure system, which is the warmth. The deeper it goes, or the more south it goes and east it goes, it's going to really be able to capitalize on a lot of that heat that's sitting off into parts of the central and southern plains, and that's going to bring back the moisture, which could lead to some late day rain, mainly along the Mississippi River as we go Wednesday into Thursday. But overall, because we're going to be warming up, because we're going to be underneath the ridge of the jet stream, a lot of the rain is actually going to miss us over the next 7 to 10 days. But we got a near 80 to 90% chance of sitting warmer than average as we go over the next couple of days. But that really begins towards the end of our extended forecast. You're seeing it there. By next weekend, we're in the low to mid 80s, but then we jump into the mid to upper 80s, if not the low 90s, by Tuesday and Wednesday of that following week. Only a couple of rain chances, at best 30% on Friday. So not a lot of rain over the next 10 days as we steadily warm on up. And interestingly enough, we usually say goodbye to the 90s around August 21st. So if we do squeeze out any 90s, it's not unheard of. It's actually kind of average, but it just may seem odd as we get closer to fall that we're actually warming on up.
Summer is trying to get in its last few days since we've been relatively cool the last couple weeks, so I don't blame it. Will I be outside? No, but I know a lot of you at home are definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, with the heat comes the humidity, so it might be a little bit tough out there after being comfortable for the last couple of weeks.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. And still to come in sports, the Brewers honor the anniversary of Robin Yount. Big league debut next on News 3 Now.
Kamala Harris has spent decades fighting violent crime. As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border. As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades. And as president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. Fixing the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
One size rarely fits all. That's why at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we carry a huge selection of quality name brand jeans and pants. We're so confident we have the right brand, style, and fit for you that we'll give you a free $5 Blaine's Farm and Fleet gift card for every pair you buy. Like men's or women's Ariat jeans. Get an extra $30 gift card for every $150 Ariat purchase. And men's Rustler jeans, just $15.99. Find your perfect pair of jeans for less at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Okay, guys, we're all here because U.S. Cellular has an incredible deal. Right now, you can get 4 lines for just $90.
Sorry, just double checking. Is it really that good of a deal?
Yeah. It's a huge deal. You also get 4 free phones of your choice.
4 free phones! Wow, I just triple checked and that's awesome.
So go get that deal. Or at least help me clip. Did you check the expiration dates?
Oh, I can do that.
Great.
Get 4 free phones of your choice with no trade-in needed, plus 4 lines for $90.
Kamala Harris has taken on gang members to get justice for victims, taken on big banks to pay back people they ripped off, taken on drug companies to cap insulin at $35. Now she's running to take on greedy corporations who jack up prices to lower everyday costs for working families. They're spending millions on ads attacking her because she'd be a president who fights for you. FF PAC's responsible for the content of this ad.
Chris Stanford, News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
It was 50 years ago that an 18-year-old kid named Robin Yount was called up to make his MLB debut with the Brewers, and the rest is history. 50 years later, he's still one of the youngest players to ever start an MLB game as a position player. And 50 years later, we look back at Robin Yount as probably the greatest Brewer ever. On the anniversary of his MLB debut, the crew invited the kid back out to the ballpark to honor the 20-year Brewer, 2-time MVP, Hall of Famer, and member of the 3,000 Hit Club.
I wish they could have done it in a little different manner as far as saying it was 30 years since I retired. It might have didn't sound quite so long ago. Where did it go? I was born to play baseball in Milwaukee.
Well, the Brewers still had a game after and had a chance to win their 5th straight while honoring Rockin' Robin. Bottom 1, and Willie Adames is already doing his thing. A 2-out single to center scores the run, and it would really be the only one they'd need on the day. Colin Ray threw a gem, took a no-hitter into the 6th, and carried the weight in a shutout of the Guardians. The Brewers win it 2-0, their 5th straight win and their 72nd of the year. 1 game off the best record in baseball. To the WNBA, where Caitlin Clark just continues to break barriers. Early third quarter, she puts the full court pass right on the money, and with that assist, she breaks the WNBA's rookie assist record. And by the way, there's still a quarter of the season left, but as you know, she's not just a passer, she's a shooter that knows no range. What a shot from Clark. She has her fever rolling after a 1-8 start. They are 11-7 since. They're the winners, 92-75. The Packers are less than an hour out from kicking off their second preseason game of the year and are pretty well adapted to the altitude of the Mile High City by this point. They held a joint practice with the Broncos earlier this week, an exercise that Matt LaFleur called as valuable as a preseason game. But tonight, in prime time, it will be the real deal. Jalen, really the only looming question going into this one, how many drives will Jordan Love play? We know he only played 3 plays last time out, but it'll be interesting to see how much tick he gets in this one.
In the past, when there were 4 preseason games, teams would treat the third game as like, you know, their real preseason game where the starters would at least play the first half, sometimes even deep into the third quarter. Things have kind of changed now, so maybe we'll see this be like their dress rehearsal with it being the second game. So I would say a minimum of a quarter, but we may see them play the full first half.
And that would be really exciting for Packers fans. And on the other side, Bo Nix is going to be a lot of fun to watch. He gets the start for Denver, a rookie that's a lot of fun to watch. Feels like we watched him in college football for the last 15 years.
We did.
Now he's in the NFL, and it'll be a fun matchup to watch 2 really exciting young quarterbacks.
Absolutely. Real quick on Robin Yount. His debut was 50 years ago today?
Not 50 years ago today. The Brewers
just 50 years ago?
Yeah, 50 years ago. He does.
68.
No kidding. Yeah, it helps when you're so young when you start. But yeah, 50 years for Robin Yount. Probably, at least for my money, the best Brewer ever.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you, Andrew. A final check with the First One forecast is coming up when we return.
I became a nurse to make lives better. Today, that's hard to do because of the open border. I've seen firsthand the damage that Kamala Harris caused as our country's borders are. Hospitals everywhere are overwhelmed, and American patients are paying the price. My patients are covering the healthcare costs for people here illegally while their own care is jeopardized. Kamala Harris is weak and dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm so happy I just put this dress on that I haven't worn in over 10 years.
This summer, feel confident from head to toe with Sono Bello permanent fat removal and get summer body ready in just 1 visit.
I saw the results immediately. It's the best I have felt since I was in my 20s.
My waist is tiny. I'm very, very happy.
I'm nearly 50, y'all, and my abs haven't been this flat since before I had kids.
For a limited time, take advantage of Sono Bello's biggest sale of the year. Sono Bello's board-certified surgeons use micro-laser technology to safely target and remove your diet-resistant fat cells for good on your stomach, hips and thighs, back, and so much more.
It will change your life. It did for me.
I can't wait till the summertime hit. Hot Mom Summer, here I come.
Call 1-800-905-6520 now or go to sonobello.com to claim special pricing.
She grew up in a middle-class home. She was the daughter of a working mom, and she worked at McDonald's while she got her degree. Kamala Harris knows what it's like to be middle-class. It's why she's determined to lower healthcare costs and make housing more affordable. Donald Trump has no plan to help the middle class, just more tax cuts for billionaires. Being president is about who you fight for, and she's fighting for people like you.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
So football season is here, meaning Andrew and Zach have to be outside shooting more. What's the weather going to be like for them this week?
Well, we'll take a look here in just a moment, but actually not too bad. It could be much worse. It could be much better, but I'm going to give you what Mother Nature has delivered for us, which is 70s and 80s, plenty of sunshine, an isolated rain chance tomorrow, but we will go quietly into the rest of your Sunday evening.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Blaze. Thank you, Andrew. See you all back here at 10 o'clock.